For decades, the global idea of work has followed one rigid rule: 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. Your life arranged around a job. But quietly, across parts of Europe, that rule is being challenged. Not with protests, not with strikes, but with results. In countries known for productivity, innovation, and economic stability, a radical question is being asked. What if working less actually produced more? This is the story of the 4-hour workday, a concept that sounds impossible, unrealistic, even lazy, until you look at the data. And once you do, it becomes uncomfortable to ignore. The origin of a radical idea. The idea of shorter workdays didn't begin as a trend, it began as an experiment. European governments and private companies started noticing something troubling. Despite longer working hours, productivity was plateauing, burnout was increasing, mental health issues were rising, and employees were disengaging. People were showing up, but not truly working. So instead of asking workers to do more, some leaders asked a different question. What if we asked them to do less, but better? The first experiments. One of the most cited examples comes from Iceland. Between 2015 and 2019, Iceland ran one of the largest workplace experiments in history. Public sector employees shifted to significantly reduced working hours, some close to 4 to 5 hours a day, without a pay cut. The result? Productivity stayed the same or improved. Employees' stress dropped dramatically, work-life balance improved, and job satisfaction increased. The experiment was so successful that today, a majority of Iceland's workforce has the legal right to shorter working hours. And Iceland is not alone. Across Europe, a pattern emerges. In Germany, companies began experimenting with reduced hour schedules while maintaining output targets. In Sweden, the concept of a 6-hour workday, and in some cases even shorter, was tested in healthcare and tech sectors. In Denmark, already known for work-life balance, efficiency became the priority over hours logged. Across France, strict labor protections limited overwork, forcing companies to optimize rather than exhaust employees. And then something unexpected happened. Despite fewer hours worked, many teams outperformed their longer working counterparts. Not because they worked harder, but because they worked smarter. The productivity illusion. Here is a truth rarely spoken out loud. Most 8-hour workdays are not 8 hours of work. Studies consistently show that the average office worker is productive for only 3 to 4 hours per day. The rest of the time is consumed by unnecessary meetings, email overload, office distractions, social media, mental fatigue. The traditional workday rewards presence, not performance. The European experiments exposed this illusion. When workers were given only 4 hours, distractions disappeared. Meetings became shorter or vanished. Priorities became clear. Work was no longer about filling time, it was about producing results. The psychological shift. The most powerful impact of the 4-hour workday was not economic, it was psychological. When people know they have limited time, their focus sharpens. They stop procrastinating, they stop pretending to be busy, they stop wasting energy. Work becomes intentional. Instead of dragging tasks across an entire day, people complete them efficiently and leave. And when work ends, it actually ends. No emails at midnight, no guilt for resting, no constant mental exhaustion. This separation restores something modern work has stolen: mental clarity, health, burnout, and longevity. European researchers noticed a critical side effect of shorter workdays. Health improved. Lower stress levels, better sleep patterns, reduced anxiety and depression, lower burnout rates. In countries with strong healthcare systems, reduced work hours translated into fewer medical absences and lower long-term healthcare costs. In simple terms, working less made people healthier. Healthier people worked better. It was a cycle, not a trade-off. The economic fear. Immediately, critics raised alarms. How will companies survive? What about competitiveness? Won't productivity collapse? But the numbers told a different story. Companies saved money on office utilities, absenteeism, employee turnover, recruitment costs. Retention improved, training costs dropped. Experience stayed inside organizations longer. In knowledge-based economies, output is no longer tied to time, it's tied to quality. And Europe, more than any region, leaned into that reality. The cultural difference. To understand why this trend took hold in Europe, you must understand one cultural distinction. Europe generally views work as part of life, not the center of life. Identity is not exclusively tied to job titles. Rest is not seen as weakness. Efficiency is valued over endurance. In contrast, many cultures still glorify overwork, long hours as proof of commitment. Europe quietly rejected that narrative. The technology factor. Technology played a crucial role. Automation removed repetitive tasks. AI reduced administrative overhead. Digital tools compressed workflows. What once took 8 hours now takes 3. The question became unavoidable. If technology increased efficiency, why were humans still working outdated schedules? The 4-hour workday wasn't radical, it was logical. Who can actually do this? Not every industry can immediately adopt a 4-hour workday. Manufacturing, healthcare, emergency services, these require coverage. But even here, Europe approached the problem differently. Instead of forcing individuals to work longer, systems were redesigned. Shift optimization, team rotation, smart scheduling, outcome-based performance metrics. The goal was never to reduce responsibility, it was to reduce waste. The real resistance. The biggest obstacle wasn't productivity, it was control. Traditional management systems rely on visibility, seeing employees at desks, monitoring hours, measuring commitment by time spent. The 4-hour workday removes that illusion. Managers must trust results instead of presence, and trust is uncomfortable for outdated systems. Why this matters globally. This is not just a European story, it's a warning and an invitation. As burnout rises worldwide, as mental health crises deepen, as productivity stagnates despite longer hours, the European experiment forces a question. Is the problem really that people don't work enough or that they work too much inefficiently? The future of work. The 4-hour workday is not about laziness, it is about evolution. Work designed for factories doesn't fit digital economies. Schedules created for the 19th century cannot sustain the 21st. Europe didn't stumble into this trend. It tested it, measured it, refined it, and the results speak quietly but clearly. Final thought. Imagine a world where work is intense but brief. Focus replaces fatigue. Life exists outside employment, where success is measured by impact, not exhaustion. Europe has shown it is possible. The question is no longer if the world will change, but who will adapt first. Because the future of work is not longer days, it's smarter ones.